small talk on Garudhammas. So I'll give a bit of an introduction. Attending the first Global Congress on Buddhist Women in Hamburg this last year, I think it became abundantly clear to all of us there that the Garudhamma story that we have in most of the Buddhist texts of the 8 Garudhammas being given with particular text at the time of the ordination of Bhikkhuni Etadaga Sawaka Bhikkhuni Mahapajapati Gotami, that story has definite historical impossibility. So I'll speak about why that is. For myself, I know it was introduced to me as something historical and controversial, and something that many women and men, both in the monastic community and in the lay community, had a lot of conflict with, and particularly in the West now. This is something that has been spoken about with disappointment, with pain, with vehemence, a whole number of negative emotions over and over and over again. So I think even the idea of talking about it here one more time, when I first suggested that it would be good to look at, there was kind of a groan. Oh no, not again. So this is the kind of mood that this subject has largely been pervaded with, which I think started to clear substantially amongst those who have done really deeper research into the subject, and as a community during the Global Congress on Buddhist Women in Hamburg. So one scholar, Ute Huskin, gave her presentation on this subject. I think that will be available as published by Wisdom Publications in this next year, so you may be able to read her paper. The things that she mentioned are largely ones that I noticed when I began to study Vinaya more deeply. That is that all of the Garudhammas, or some of them, at least, most of them, appear as Pachitya precepts, and that the Pachitya precepts all have, that they all have origin stories in the Bhikkhuni Vibhanga. And when we look at the origin stories for each and every one of them, these are things that happened after the foundation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha. The one that would be placed most closely in time, does not appear as a Pachitya with an origin story, I think except for in the Dhammagupta, and it's suspected by scholars that may have been perhaps it might be a later fabrication. Just a question. But even that one, number 1, in the origin story we have Mahapajapati Gotami, after her ordination, going to the Buddha and asking him, the bhikkhus are paying respects to one another according to seniority. How are the bhikkhunis then to relate to one another and to the bhikkhus, right? And then this very famous answer becomes Garudhamma number 1. So if the Buddha, if she had already accepted all 8 Garudhammas at the time of her ordination, then why did she go afterwards to ask about this? Is what some have said. Or another interpretation is she had just said, very gladly I receive all of these Garudhammas and carry them upon the top of my head like a garland of lotuses, and then immediately afterwards she changed her mind. Some have said, right? So that one, in its form, in one of the Vinaya text as a Pachitya precept, that is, that a bhikkhuni has to rise up and greet respectfully and pay respects to a bhikkhu even if she's been ordained for 100 years, that one in its origin story even places itself as after the establishment of the Bhikkhuni Sangha.